Welcome to the Veganuary podcast, the podcast that helps you to try a vegan diet. It's stuffed full of hints and tips for vegans and veg-curious people. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Stu.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm looking forward to our interview today, which is the soap actor James Moore. He's an actor on a British soap that you probably don't know called Emmerdale. But before we get into that, should we talk about our most vegan thing / least vegan thing that's happened to us this week?
Let's do it.
What's yours?
So the most vegan thing that I did this week is I adopted a turkey.
Really?
On paper, I do not have a turkey in my house, just to be clear, but every Thanksgiving, I do a symbolic adoption of a turkey from a farm sanctuary instead of course, eating one.
That's so exciting. Do you get to learn anything about the turkey?
Yeah, so when you adopt, you get an email with an adoption certificate and all kinds of fun turkey facts. It's good talking point for Thanksgiving with the family.
Lovely.
And what about you? Do you have a most or least vegan thing of the week?
Well, I'm cheating a bit because I'm going to go back to something that happened to me in the summer, and I haven't done a least vegan thing this series. I don't think so. I'm going to go for a least vegan thing that happened to me. As you know, Wendy, I have a side hustle other than working for Veganuary. I play music in a band, and we were booked to play at an event which I thought was like a gardening show. I expected to go there and see loads of nice plants and gardens and things, and it turned out that it was an agricultural show. So I ended up spending 3 days at an agricultural show playing little sets of music, and it was horrible. It was really horrible. Lots of people selling tractors and farming machinery and things, and lots of animals.
And did you try to infuse some subliminal Veganuary plugs in your music?
I didn't really. I can't say that I did that. I wish I had, but possibly wasn't brave enough. I found it a really depressing experience walking around. The animals were quite cute, so it was quite nice to see them, but that sense that they're really a commodity, I really felt. Yeah. I suppose I felt overall that maybe in some ways it was a good thing to get an insight of how that world works and how those people think. Also, trying to find vegan food to eat while I was there was a nightmare. I ended up...
I can imagine.
I found a stall that was selling a pizza that was a vegan pizza for £8, which is quite a lot for a pizza here, Wendy, let me tell you, because it was just pizza base with tomato puree on top. That's all it was.
No vegan cheese or anything.
Nothing.
Yikes.
Anyway, well, I think that brings us quite nicely onto our challenges. I thought today we could talk a little bit about things that we find challenging when we're following a vegan diet, plant-based lifestyle. And that's probably my biggest one. So when I'm with the band and we're playing music, we're playing gigs, travel around a lot, not always knowing where I'm going to be eating. Sometimes the venues that we play will provide us with food. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes we'll be in a very busy metropolitan city, and sometimes we'll be out in the sticks. So that is always a really big challenge for me, is when I'm traveling around trying to find things that I can eat. You can usually rely on being able to find a vegan sandwich deal in a supermarket or something, but that's not always very satisfying food of an evening. So that's something I find really challenging. I guess I try to compress with meals that I can eat, so I make salads in boxes and things that I can eat on the road. How about you? What do you find challenging?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've been vegan for about 14 years now. And it's become such second nature that I think most of the initial challenges are far in the rearview mirror for me at this point. But one thing that I've recently been really focused on is nutrition. And I was one of those old school vegans who thought as long as I'm eating the rainbow, I'm getting all the vitamins I need, right? I don't really need to think about supplementing. And I would, take a B12 here and there, but I wasn't great about it, to be honest. And I've just been learning a bit more about nutrition lately, and I've been really focusing on making sure every single day I'm taking my B12, I'm taking my omegas, I'm taking my vitamin D. And I feel like my brain is whirring like it hasn't in a long time. Like, I think I really needed those every day. And I think everyone, of course, who's eating a vegan diet should be thinking about supplements. But really committing to that has made a big change for me.
That's so interesting, and I take those vitamins every day as well. And I think that's something we've, as an organisation, we've really focused on for this year's campaign. In the resources that we're sending out, we've really made sure that we're recommending people are getting the right nutrition and supplementing where they need to. And I think sometimes there's a feeling that supplementing is kind of cheating, and you should be able to get all. If you can't get the nutrients from a vegan diet, then a vegan diet isn't right. But there's a couple of things I just want to mention on that. The first is that a lot of a non-vegan diet is supplemented anyway, but the supplements go into the animal feed, so that's how we get the nutrients like B12 from eating meat. And the other thing is just, it is possible to get most of these nutrients from a plant-based diet, but it's hard. Like, you have to be really, really, really organized and plan really, really well. And that's just not how most of us live. So taking supplements is just an easier way to do it. Yeah. Should we get on to introducing James for our interview? James Moore has played Ryan Stocks in the British soap opera Emmerdale since 2018. James has ataxic cerebral palsy and is an advocate for disability representation in the media. James has also been vegan for about 4 years, and he's been a big supporter of Veganuary in that time. So let's hear from James. All right, we have James Moore with us, the Emmerdale actor. We're really glad to have James with us, and James has been a big supporter of Veganuary's work for a few years now. It's great to see you, James.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
We're going to launch straight in. What's your dream vegan meal?
So, I'm a big fan of Chinese food, Japanese food, generally Asian cuisine. And I love I think I picked this up from maybe a Bosch cookbook a couple of years ago. And I was making satay tofu so you sort of cover it in either corn flour or I guess breadcrumbs might work too. You kind of need some agent to stick it together, which is difficult to find a vegan version of. But if you fry it, you get the outside really crispy texture, and then the inside really soft, obviously, and it's tofu. And then you put it in some satay sauce, have it with some I like coconut rice, so I use that, but my partner doesn't, so I usually get her white rice or basmati rice or something, and then chop up a bit of spring onion for a garnish, and it's just gorgeous. I love making it.
That's really making me salivate because I love Asian food as well. So that is, that sounds right up my street.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, James, you have a recipe for sweet and spicy sriracha tofu in Veganuary's celebrity cookbook.
Yeah, that was a similar thing that was sort of based off that I just drew together because I was I think one day my fiancé girlfriend at the time asked me to make it, and I was looking around and I was like, I don't have any peanut butter to make the satay sauce. So I just made a sauce with sriracha instead and just started putting loads of stuff together in a bowl of soy sauce and agave nectar and just started mixing it up. And yeah, it worked out really well. It was a little on the spicy side for her. I really enjoyed that.
I love that. Having it,
Let's do it.
I've so often come up with meal ideas just from like, oh, I haven't got such and such in the cupboard, so just improvise something.
Well, it worked out. It's a very popular recipe.
Yes. James, will you tell us about your plant-based journey? What triggered your decision to start eating more plant-based food?
So actually, it was my friend was vegan for like a year before me, and I don't know, it just kind of piqued my curiosity in a way. And I was talking to him about it, and I was like, "What made you become vegan?" And he showed me the Earthlings documentary, and he said, "What's this?" Right, and he was like quite hard to stomach. So unless you're really like wanting to go down that route, I don't suggest you watch it. And it was actually one of the first nights that I was staying over in Leeds, because I had to be on set for Emmerdale the next day, and I had actually ordered myself Domino's to my hotel room, just regular like pepperoni, whatever, Domino's.
Yeah.
And I started watching Earthlings while trying to eat this pizza, obviously not aware of the cognitive dissonance taking place there. And I watched about 20 minutes and I was like sat there in tears trying to eat this pizza, and I was like, I can't eat this anymore, just throw it away. And I was like, can't really in good conscience, knowing what I know now about factory farming and the animal industry, continue what I was doing in good conscience. So I kind of made the decision sort of then and there that I wasn't going to do it anymore. And I came home the next night and I was living at my mum's at the time, and she made me like spaghetti bolognese, like a regular spaghetti meal. And I was like, I thought it was going to be a big deal. So I sat them down and I was like, look, I can't eat this. And I thought they were going to be like angry at me or something. I don't know why. But they were cool with it, and I don't know what happened. I think they made me like a sandwich or something. But yeah, that was kind of the tipping point for me in terms of seeing how animals were exploited in the produce industry, and really kind of started me on my journey towards veganism.
So James, it sounds like you just stopped eating meat altogether overnight. Is that what happened, or was there anything you weaned yourself off gradually?
Some stuff I found it difficult to like adapt to, because when you stop eating that stuff and you start looking at ingredient stuff, you realise how much there is in stuff that you would never think there would be meat or dairy in, like sweet, obviously gelatin in sweets and stuff like that, and milk. I mean, they put milk in everything. They put milk in some stuff that they're like, you look at the back of the pack and you go, why the hell did there need to be cow milk in it? Like, it doesn't seem reasonable even for there to be cow milk in it, but it's there for something that like quick. Some of the time you see like lactose on the back of a crisp packet, and I'm like, why? It's like a sliced fried potato. Why the hell do you need to put milk in that? So it's like adjusting to all these different things And now you kind of compartmentalize which brands have it in, which brands don't have it in, and eventually you just walk into a shop and some of them you kind of know, like you don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh yeah, they're vegan, they're vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a relatable challenge to transitioning to a plant-based diet. Were there any aspects that you found surprisingly easy?
Yeah, so I think obviously with the growing market for vegetarian style meats, I found switching meats very easy. Like, I just had corn versions, and when I tried the corn chicken nuggets, I was like, I mean, I don't know if I'm sort of trying to remember what chicken nuggets tasted like when I ate them, but for me, in my mind, there's no considerable difference between the two. Like, they basically taste identical to me. So I found that really easy, like switching up meats. There were still some meats that I was kind of missing, like the stuff we would say is vegan now, but when I wasn't vegan, I really enjoyed steak, which is like the most meaty kind of meat you can get. So not too long ago, actually, I went to a restaurant in Wales, and they were doing like a vegan steak night, and I had my last steak night, like, so good, and you know it, and it was like they made them all in house, so I couldn't buy them on market. But I found one called Juicy Marbles.
Okay.
And never made them. Like, they're really chunky and solid and meaty, and it kind of falls apart like real meat does. But the only problem with it is it falls apart so easily that it just, when you're cooking it, it quite often just falls apart in the pan as well. So I think I'm going to have the perfect brown steak like there is on the box, and I end up with like loads of chunks. But still, it tastes amazing, so I don't really care that much.
I haven't tried that. I have to check that out.
Yeah. They're expensive, but they are really good. You can get them in Waitrose.
Okay, like a Christmas treat or something. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
What about when you're working? Do you find it easy to like get vegan food when you're on set and things? Do you get looked after, or is it tricky?
So it can be tricky. Weirdly though, it depends what I'm filming. So we have two like bases for sets. So the studio and the village, and you know they both have options, but I really like the one at the village because you know they always have a vegan option, and generally it's really nice. You know, but you know there are great options in both places, so I don't really think I had that hard a time finding anything to eat there. You know, sometimes I'm only in the afternoon anyway, so I just kind of eat before I get there, and then I'm straight on set, and there's not really time. But you know.
Are you the kind of... So I travel a lot and my friends are always taking the mickey out of me because like I've always got loads of food stashed away in my bag just for emergencies. Are you like that? Are you the kind of person that carries little snacks with you?
I'm a bit like that as well, yeah. So I take like maybe a sandwich and some crisps and stuff just in case. But I also like... So... I've been going to the gym now basically every day. So I had like a protein shake in the morning. And because I put so much stuff in it, like peanut butter, protein powder, protein yogurt, like I cram it full of stuff, I have that and then I'm full until like late afternoon. Nice. So I tend to find that I don't really need to eat anything after that for quite a while.
So, James, we talked a little bit about challenges already. As someone with cerebral palsy, are there additional challenges that you need to consider when it comes to food and cooking? And does it get harder when you put vegan into the equation?
Um, yes and no. I feel like I can understand the perspective of some disabled people who say veganism is inaccessible for them, because they need certain things because of their condition and they need, certain things in their diet that they can't supplement. And I can understand that, but I've never had that issue myself. I find sometimes if I'm cooking hard, every now and then, I mean, it's the same for everyone. Every now and then I'll be cutting a carrot and I'll slice into my finger or something. But there are ways around it. I found products like, there's a product that's like a little, kind of like a compaction thing. And it's got a cup and it's got a blade on the bottom. And you just put your vegetables or tofu or whatever in the cup and then slice it with the. And that takes away a lot of the dangers of having to use a really sharp knife when you have like occasional tremors like I do.
Right.
It's terrifying, like I really don't want to get a tremor while I'm trying to cut this carrot and like accidentally hit myself or So there are ways around it. Also I say recently, probably like a year ago, but I got an air fryer and that changed my life. And changed the way I cook stuff. So now I don't have to stand in the kitchen watching the food in the pan. I can just pop it in the air fryer and sit on the sofa, and then I hear a ding, and I'm like, oh, my tofu's running, and then there you go.
Have you got into the air fryer, Wendy?
I don't have an air fryer, but everyone is talking about the air fryer. So I think maybe it's time. Maybe this Christmas.
I'm getting big air fryer FOMO. Definitely everyone's getting
an air fryer. So good. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive, comparably, depending on what you're buying. It's easier because you can just put the food in and go and whatever and come back. But the difference between that and like a conventional oven is that it will actually properly fry the food. Like, I've made tofu in that and it's not perfectly crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. And I can never do that when I do it in the pan because I can't get it to cook as evenly. But the air fryer just cooks it. So every piece is like through and through cooked evenly. And I can't possibly get that consistency across the board if I'm frying it myself.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Maybe
easier, tastes better, and relatively cheap. It's absolutely a no-brainer.
I'm just thinking I'm going to buy one as a Christmas present for myself, and then I'm going to put that steak that you recommended in.
Why wouldn't you just ask someone else?
Well, I could do that too. That's a good idea.
Yeah, if Stu's friends are listening, it's on the Christmas list.
James, I watched a video of you talking about the parallels you see between ableism and speciesism, and I wondered if you could tell us a bit about that, and then also whether your cerebral palsy has contributed towards your empathy to animals, do you think?
So I find it really interesting because it's one of the things that like people don't talk about, and I feel like I sort of came up with it on the fly. Like I was sat in the interview and they asked me the question and my mind was like connecting the dots. And I was sort of going, oh my God, that is so similar to that. And that is, I had like a total light bulb moment in my head. And just the way I see it is like obviously, I think having a disability definitely had affected my kind of empathy, because I genuinely feel, I feel like I can be more empathetic to the plight of people, because I know what it's like. I've been through discrimination myself in my past, and I know what it's like to feel kind of discriminated against
Yeah.
by people, and kind of mocked and ridiculed and all that kind of stuff. And I've grown. I feel like it's made me the person I am in a way, because I've grown like quite a thick skin because of that. And nothing really offends me that I've seen on Twitter about me or anything. Like, I've heard it all before, and it's just like, what were products back. But for me, that other people might be upset by these things, so I try to call that, where I'm like, well, I don't care that you're saying this about me, but I care that you are projecting these thoughts out there, and other people are going to see them.
Yeah.
And other disabled people might not be sort of as comfortable with it and handling this as I am. And I want to kind of pick up for them and help them out. So in the same basis that I want to pick up for them and help them out, I think it's also appropriate to be speaking up for animals, as well. And being vegan and having that lifestyle is a kind of, it's almost, I mean, in the last couple of years especially, it's almost become a political stance
Yeah.
to be vegan in some form, because it is counterculture.
Yeah.
And it is, you look at all the movements that are getting controversy at the moment, movements like Extinction Rebellion and all these groups across the UK, Just Stop Oil.
Yeah.
Is another big one that got a lot of flack for, these protests that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't always agree with the message, but I do agree with the message.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's a lot of comparison to be made there. And I think it's a tricky one, because I'm like, I don't want to come across like I'm belittling one or the other, because I'm not. I'm just drawing an equivalency between the two, because that's what I've seen through my experiences. And because of my experiences, I feel like I can empathise with animals. Like how one thing that stuck out to me recently, actually, is just the language we use to describe things. Like, they call, in the farming industry, they call animals livestock.
Yeah.
And that stuck out to me, because in my head I'm going, oh, so they are just a commodity or an asset.
Yeah.
When in fact these are animals and these are alive. You know what I mean? So it's little things like that when you transition to veganism or you listen to vegan activists, these things kind of become more clear, and you go, oh, I never thought about that before, and it just kind of clicked, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting. The language we use that kind of contributes to that cognitive dissonance is so powerful, and you it's the kind of thing you only start to notice once you well, they say once you know it's that kind of thing, isn't it? James, I first met you, it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago at an animal sanctuary in Kent for a Veganuary photo shoot. Now, I am vegan and I love animals, but I feel quite nervous around animals. And one thing that I remember about you and your partner, Sophie, it's Sophie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who was there at the time, was
Yeah.
how comfortable and relaxed you seemed around animals. And I was a bit envious. I wondered if you could maybe, and you told us before we started the interview that you've been visiting some animal sanctuaries last week. So you obviously enjoy it. I
It's
wondered
funny because I don't think I am comfortable in
Oh,
the
really?
No, like I'm not very good with dogs generally. Like I'm quite what's the word? I'm quite jumpy.
Yeah.
I'm quite prone to jumpiness. So like when I hear a dog barking, I'm like, oh god. And then there are certain animals that like all the animals in the sanctuary were like super chill. They obviously have been treated really well. Having having a life on the sanctuary, and I felt very comfortable with those animals there because they're just all sort of happy and they're all enjoying their time there, you know what I mean? I feel a bit like jumping around chickens as well and birds, like I
Yeah.
don't know why. Like I mean it's probably very subtle, but you'll notice that Soph in the photos you've probably seen them, Soph is the one holding the chicken.
Okay, yeah.
Not me. And there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like the flapping and that, I can't. But even still, if I'm a bit nervous around a particular animal or I'm a bit scared of a particular animal, I'm like, well, they still absolutely have a right to life and a right to dignity and all that. So I'm not going to, use that the pretext to be like, oh, I can eat this. That doesn't work. So,
Yeah, there's something about sanctuaries. They're just such a different space, right? It's such a unique model for being able to interact with the rescued animals. It's very relaxing usually. I think I read somewhere that pigs are your favorite. Is that true?
Yeah, well, actually, I think that was one of the things that changed in me on that day at the farm. Because they had a pig there, and I can't remember her name, but she was so gorgeous, and I was enamored with her. And I sat there for ages with her, and she was just lovely. And I've read or I've seen somewhere that pigs actually have like the intelligence of a 8-year-old human child, like full-grown pig. And I don't know, I just think they're lovely, lovely creatures, and it's like they seem to really enjoy their life there, and I don't know, it's not something that I can really explain. Like, I'm trying to put it into words, like why I love them, and I can't, but I just do. I don't know why.
On that day, well, I'll talk about pigs first. On that day, I went into the pig pen and had some photos taken, and it was a really, it felt like a really privileged thing to be able to go, and I was like lying down on the floor and stroking them. So that felt really nice. But also, the pigs were quite mischievous and strong, really, really strong. And the Billy, who owns that sanctuary, he told us a story about how I think he'd broken his leg or something once when he was in the pig pen, and some of the pigs bit his finger off. And he told me that as he was ferrying me into the pig pen, and so that was kind of terrifying. But another thing I remember is standing with a cow that was there, and the cow was just really still and calm, and just feeling the heat of her next to me, and sort of that felt like a really meditative state to be in, standing next to that cow. It's really amazing.
Yeah, no, I just loved being there and the whole experience because it kind of brought it home to me, like, how amazing some of these animals were and the level of care and the level of love that goes into a project like that. Like that farm is amazing, and I want to go back, but it's a really long way away.
James, the theme of this year's Veganuary campaign is Vote for Veggies. So we're really putting a focus on kind of vegetables and whole food recipes, that kind of thing. So we were wondering, just as a final question, if you've got a favourite veggie that you like to cook and or eat.
My favourite veggie that I like to cook and I'm not sure if I actually have like an absolute favourite vegetable. I love mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
I love trying different kinds of mushrooms because there are so many of them. I want to try like loads of mushrooms, but you can only get like a certain amount of different kinds of mushrooms in stores at the moment. I love shiitake mushrooms and like those kind of things. But like, I mean, I love vegetables. Like broccoli, when I first discovered tender stem broccoli, long stem broccoli, I was blown away. And it was like, I can't believe I've just been eating like normal thick broccoli for my whole life. I discovered tender stem. I think I had it with like balsamic vinegar, maybe agave nectar and like sesame seeds or something, kind of like an Asian sort of inspired style, and I was blown away by that. So yeah, big on tender stem, really big on mushrooms, although my old housemate didn't like mushrooms, so that was annoying. Had to cook them in his separate pan when we were doing meals and stuff.
They're polarizing food.
Yeah, but yeah, no, interesting now. Butternut squash is a big one as well. I love butternut squash. I'm not really sure how to cook it, but I've had it a lot out and it's delicious, but I've never tried to cook it myself. I'd like to, but I'm not really sure how. So.
It's a pain to peel. That's my verdict. It's on a butternut squash. I love a butternut squash, but James, it's been really lovely to talk to you. Do you want to tell the listeners about anything you're working on? Obviously, people can tune into Emmerdale. Is there anything else you want to tell people about?
I'm working on Emmerdale, and you can catch that on ITV at 7 p.m. every weeknight.
Perfect. Do you get a little bonus for a plug as good as that?
No, but it is on. It continues to be on. They've just celebrated their 50 years on the air, which is amazing.
Right.
So we had like a big celebration for that, which is really cool. It's amazing to be part of this such a long running show and to be to have that sort of legacy behind you, and also to be part of the Dingle family is amazing, because they're sort of one of the longest running families in the history of the show. So to kind of be you get in the door and then all of a sudden just be part of that massive family legacy is amazing. I didn't really appreciate the gravity of it when I came in. I didn't know a lot about Emmerdale, but now I kind of understand where it all comes from, and I'm just really happy to be a part of it.
Brill. Well, it's been lovely to speak to you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So fantastic to have James Moore on the podcast. I'm feeling quite hungry. I don't know about you, Wendy.
Always.
So, the classic American dish that you have tasked me to try this week is pumpkin pie. I think I've made pumpkin pie before, but it was before I went vegan, and I tried making it with actual pumpkin because every year we carve a pumpkin for Halloween. And then it's, what am I going to do with all the flesh that I've carved out? So I tried making it into a puree, and then I tried making pumpkin pie with it. And I would say the results were questionable.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah, but the recipes that I found online said to use pumpkin puree, which you get in a can. So that's what I've done on this occasion. And do you know, I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out. I think this looks quite nice. Does that?
Oh, that's textbook pumpkin pie. Gorgeous.
So and you told me that you thought this was quite difficult to make. So I'm feeling quite pleased with myself.
I think you should be. I think it's one that a lot of people struggle with.
So it was pumpkin puree, loads and loads of sugar. I mean, a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Some corn. We call it corn flour, but you call it corn starch, don't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you bake it in the oven. I'm looking forward to. I think you're supposed to have like some cream on top, aren't you? But I didn't.
Usually, yeah.
Here we go.
And Stu, I need to know before you bite, did you make a homemade crust or did you buy store-bought crust?
I bought a ready rolled. This is a really good tip, actually. Ready rolled pastry that you can get in a lot of supermarkets in the UK is usually vegan, just by coincidence.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm very jealous over here. That looks really good.
Does it? It reminds me quite a lot of the candied yams that I ate on the previous episode.
They're in the same family, for sure.
It's like that thing of, I quite like mixing savoury and sweet, but somehow it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't come together for me. The savoury and the sweet thing here isn't just quite matching up for me. I mean,
and this is where
I would definitely
kind of
keep
think the
eating
whipped cream is key.
It
like takes it one level over
that's
into sweet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to try and get some cream. Okay, and what delicacy have you got?
So I have a British classic in front of me, which is Heinz baked beans, which are vegan. And I think that I did this wrong because I have them in a bowl. I've been told toast would have been the way to go.
Really crispy toast.
That sounds better. But we do have baked beans in the U.S. They're typically served as a side at barbecues, and they're smoky and sweet. Sometimes people put bacon in them, so these look like a little bit of a different beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, here goes nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, those are good. They're really nice. They're less sweet than the American version, which appeals to me. I don't really have much of a sweet tooth. A little bit more tomatoey, but I could see that being really nice over a piece of toast.
Yeah.
And like a great way to get some protein in the morning. So
yeah. So here we have them often as a breakfast food as part of a full English. And then also beans on toast is sort of a classic, just really easy meal because it's quite filling. It's even though it's really quick to make and quite simple. I suppose it's not brilliantly nutritious, but it's quite a filling thing. So a lot of students will often eat beans on toast, that sort of thing.
Just about lunchtime here, so I'm gonna have to rustle up some toast.
I feel there's something. Sometimes I really like baked beans, and sometimes they make me feel a bit queasy. I don't know why, really. In the UK, there's a big thing about people having baked bean baths.
What?
Where they get in a bath that's full of baked beans.
I need to know more about this.
For charity or
okay.
like on a TV.
Not just for
a celebrity
self-care.
Exactly. A celebrity would do it on TV just to make make a thing, make a show of themselves or whatever.
Now, how big of a donation would Veganuary need to receive for Stuart to get inside of a baked bean bath live on the air?
Veganuary is a charity, so swiftly moving on. We're going to look at some vegetables. Our theme for Veganuary this year is Vote for Vegetables, so we are continuing our Vegetable League board. I'm going to put on the oven glove and I'm gonna put my hand into the bag, pull out two vegetables, and then we're gonna decide which is better. Okay.
All right, here we go.
It's a leek.
Oh, it's a nice looking leek, actually.
Lovely leek. How do you feel? I think a leek is up there of my favourite ever vegetables.
Really?
Yeah, I love a leek. I like it char grilled on a barbecue. I like it in like a pie, in a sort of fake chicken and leek pie.
Yeah.
A bit like we were talking last week about cauliflower cheese. When I was a kid, my mum would make leeks in white sauce. So she'd make a white sauce, cook leeks, throw them together, and that would be a kind of side on a roast dinner. And I loved that. That was like crack for me when I was 14. Or
born vegan tendencies.
Yeah. Big leek fan?
Yes, I do love leeks as well. I would say they get a little less airtime over here. So most people would know leeks from potato leek soup. I don't know if that's something that's popular in the UK. I also really like this recipe for braised leek tacos that is delicious. But I haven't had a lot of leek experience, so I'm inspired by your ideas.
Okay, cool. I'm going back into the bag. It's a tiny little mushroom.
Oh.
Are you a mushroom fan?
Yes, of course. I love mushrooms.
Yeah, I mostly like mushrooms. Sometimes they go a bit slimy.
Yeah, you got to eat them quickly once you get them home.
I think that I'm quite averse to certain food textures, and I think that's what, like, slimy mushrooms. But I like a mushroom stroganoff. I love a mushroom pate.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up foraging a lot of mushrooms in the woods.
Did you?
In New York with my brother. We would find chicken of the woods mushrooms and puffballs. So I love a wild mushroom.
Oh.
Obviously, disclaimer, only forage for mushrooms if you are absolutely sure what you're looking for. But yeah, I'm a big mushroom lover.
Okay, cool. So which are you going to vote for mushrooms? Mushrooms over leeks?
I think I have to. Yeah, I think I'm solidly in the mushroom camp here. What about you?
I'm voting for leeks. So I'm going to ask Alex in my ear to say which he votes for. Casting vote.
I'm voting for leek because I don't like mushroom.
Alex doesn't like mushroom, so we're saying leek.
Outnumbered.
Okay, so the winner of this episode is leek, which means that on our leaderboard, on our imaginary leaderboard, we have broccoli, parsnip, bottle gourd / doody / lauki, courgette / zucchini, and leek. So, what's that? Do you want to pick a winner? What's your winner?
This is so tough, and I'm such a natural contrarian that I want to pick the least popular or the least obvious, but I feel like there's so much going for broccoli, and it's super popular in both the UK and the US, and it's really sustainable. I just have to throw my hat in the ring for broccoli.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to go. I'm cool with that. I'm going with that. And do you know what's a nice thing? You talk about having a crown of broccoli, don't you?
Oh, yes.
The crown of broccoli is crowned the winner of the Veganuary Best in Show vegetable competition. Hooray! Lovely. And this is the last episode of the series, so I don't know what we're going to do after this. We might be back for more through the year, or we might wait till next January. But I'm going to say goodbye and tell you this is the Veganuary podcast, and it was recorded at Distorted Podcast Studios and produced by Jim Moore at Bloody Vegan Productions. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe and rate us 5 stars. If you want to contact us, you can email us at podcast@veganuary.com. And you'll find Veganuary at all the usual social media sites like Facebook and Instagram and X, and you know what they all are.
You can take part in Veganuary by signing up at veganuary.com to receive 31 daily emails filled with hints, tips, recipes, and everything you need to make vegan fun and easy. It doesn't have to be in January. You can sign up anytime all year long.
Thanks for listening. See you later.
1, 2,